Rhea Drysdale. I'm the CEO here at Outspoken Media. We started the company back in 2009. What we do is digital marketing services. It's a combination of SEO, content marketing, it's kind of buzzwordy, link building, outreach, and what we found as we started working with a lot of our clients is that we actually do a lot more than that. They brought us in to do their marketing efforts, and as we got into it, we started asking questions about their brand and their business and how they make money and their customer service, because we found that there were a lot of hurdles in us being able to achieve results. And suddenly we started to look more like a business consultant and less like a vendor-based marketer. And we also have a really interesting background in reputation management, so it was just kind of natural. We usually come in and we help solve the crises when they've gone bad, but no one likes to just hang out in the bad space. We like to do the fun, positive side as well. So we started thinking about what does that actually look like, what does that mean, and over the last 7 years we've been working on this concept of reputation marketing. And so you guys are here today, first ones ever to hear about this, which is that we're hoping to basically birth this discipline in marketing. We're going to be on stage at MozCon in 2 weeks in Seattle talking about reputation marketing. They're going to be in Vegas talking about it. We're working on some guides that are going to be going live on the site. And our hope is that basically this starts to look a little bit like the role of a content strategist, which content strategy has become really big because it needed to become big, especially in content in large enterprise organizations where you have so many different types of content. You have the corporate team, you have customer service talking to folks online, you have social, you have marketers, and there needed to be one place that kind of contained that and housed that and had an understanding of governance policies and all these different things. And so that content strategist role became essential. The reputation marketer role we think is essential as well, because I don't think that anyone is really protecting your business's reputation, or if you're the owner of the business, really understands what that means. We all know that it's very valuable, but it's one of those intangible assets that's hard to put a number to. So let's get into it. We're going to be talking about story, and story is really important. Pearl's going to be giving an amazing presentation on story, and what I think is important is that while we want to all talk about story, you probably shouldn't get into storytelling until you just have covered the basics of having a good business, a good brand, and a good reputation. So let's do that. Most of us know what a brand is. It's an identifiable logo, a mark, a name. These are the most known brands in 2015. We can see a lot of folks up there. We have Google, Apple. Most of us probably have something from those brands in our hand, in our pocket, in our phone. What is reputation? Reputation is different from brand. We think of brand and we think of kind of a mark, but they get used interchangeably. They're not the same thing at all. Reputation is the expectation based on past behavior. So it's an assumption of future behavior based on what I know about you from an experience that I've already had. It's a little bit different from an impression, which is important to note, because you can have an impression of someone. You have an impression of me based on what you know. There are a lot of you that I don't know, so a lot of you are kind of probably starting to form an impression of me based on, I think, Malcolm Gladwell and a lot of science that's been done. You formed an impression of me in the first 7 seconds. You either thought that I looked good, polished, professional, or I maybe looked a little frizzy, or other things. I can't help that. That's your impression of me. For the next 20 minutes, I'm going to hopefully just impress upon you that my reputation should be known after this experience as being knowledgeable in reputation marketing and what that actually looks like. So if you have a negative impression, let's try to fix that. Reputation can be great, it can be awful, and it can be absolutely everything in between. I would assume that most often it's everything in between. A lot of us tend to not make that much of an impression. Reputation, however, is not always an indicator of financial success. That's really important because reputation makes up a very large percent of brand equity, especially in large organizations, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be successful or not, although at the same time it actually can make or break your business, so it's kind of a weird statement. What I mean is that if we look at a quadrant, you can have your brand at the top, and you can have no brand at the bottom. You can have your reputation, or you can have no reputation. And I think there are a lot of companies that function in all 4 categories, and they continue to make a lot of money doing it. So there are those that have known brand, questionable reputation. You could probably put Hillary up there for a lot of people too. So I'm not trying to be political here. I don't think we found a transparent picture of her face. There are those who probably brand doesn't really matter, reputation doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that they don't invest in it, but it doesn't matter to you, the consumer, when you're purchasing something because you're held hostage, because you're in a regulated environment. We are stuck with these choices based on our employer or the industry, and that just sucks. I didn't want to use the word sucks, it's not professional. Just sucks. Like, this is just suck. Time Warner Cable, it took them, we actually quit Time Warner Cable when we moved into this space because it was easier to get good customer service from them by signing up as a new customer than it was to switch our location. I lost so many hairs. Okay, so reputation matters and sometimes brand doesn't matter. How many of you shop at Aldi? A couple of us. I say a couple of us. I went one time. Here's the deal. I heard about Aldi from a friend, which means they've got a brand. They do invest in it, but they don't invest as much in the dollars as we thought. So a lot of that happens through word of mouth. When you found out about Trader Joe's and their cheap wine, how many of you were like, you can buy like $5 wine at Trader Joe's, it's not bad, you gotta get that wine. And I knew that I lived in a different state than Trader Joe's, but when it showed up here, I was so excited, except you can't buy wine. I'm from Florida, I was really disappointed. Dr. Bronner's, same thing. How many of you use Dr. Bronner's? A couple folks in the room. So that's very reputation. You don't see their ads everywhere. With Aldi, I got really upset because the first time I went, I didn't realize that you needed a quarter to get a cart. I didn't get mad at Aldi. I got mad at my friends because they didn't tell me that I needed a quarter to get a cart. So that's kind of interesting. I didn't get mad at the brand. Brand matters and reputation matters. I would argue that these are the best companies in the world. They're folks that understand the importance of having a great brand, and they also understand the importance of having a great reputation to back that up. And these are phenomenal companies, Southwest, we've got Zappos, we've got Tom's, and those are places that you go to bat, you tell all your friends about it, you're so excited, and you just keep giving your money. Like, I don't care where I'm flying, all my friends say you need to get on Delta because the Delta clubs are awesome, and I know a lot of people fly there. You can get great points. I like Southwest because they've never been assholes to me. Delta has definitely been an asshole to me. So the problem with reputation is that we expect that someone is going to meet our expectation, right? Like when I decide to go into your restaurant or when I decide to purchase your service or your product, I don't expect that it's going to break. I don't expect that it's going to be bad. I expect that it's going to be good, and not just good, pretty great. And that's the thing with reputation. We all have this expectation. And again, reputation is that expectation and future outcome. So what is reputation marketing? Reputation marketing is not reviews management. And if you go on Wikipedia, that's what it says. So anyone that has a Wikipedia account or likes to edit things, please go on there and fix that definition. It's wrong. And it's wrong, and we're going to correct it today. So reputation marketing is the action or the business of cultivating and promoting a positive reputation that is actively working to improve your reputation by fixing all of these things. Not just fixing, not just meeting, but exceeding. Great, can't talk, it's the wine. Great reputations are built through consistency and, in my opinion, the element of surprise. And we were talking about it just today. You know, when you're birthing a discipline, you can kind of make whatever you want out of it. And I think that what's critical about it is that your reputation doesn't just come from meeting. It comes from being consistent, always delivering quality product, always delivering quality customer service, but also the element of surprise, because we expect the expected. We're surprised when positive things happen. So here's Geico, and I was asking the team for some examples, and my husband said, well, I had to go rent a trunk, and there's the husband right there. Hi, Brad. The man behind the camera. He had to rent a truck for us in order to get, I think, the couch in the office. And he was renting it for just an hour, but forgot they're probably going to need your insurance information. So he showed up, didn't have the insurance information. I'm in a client meeting. He's texting, calling, quick, I need your insurance card. I don't have your insurance card. Why would I have that on me? How do you expect me to get to Latham with your insurance card? I'm on a client call. Leave me alone. He called Geico. They quickly got on the phone, and within 2 minutes, they sent him an email. He sent me a quick text. I was able to Slack it to him, and he was done in 2 minutes. And that's exceptional customer service. They have such good customer service that there's a lady here that is purchasing a car, and while she's purchasing a car, she's leaving a review on their app because she loved their app so much, and it allowed her to do everything she needed so fast that she's like, well, I'm purchasing the car, but let me review your app too. By comparison, there's Allstate, not as good. People are angry about their app. They think it just replicates exactly what the website does. There's nothing that exciting about it. And in fact, sometimes it doesn't work. So these are both two big players. They have equally large, recognizable brands. One has a significantly better reputation. And you can like the gecko or not, but they have exceptional customer service. And I'm talking about it here today. Better Life is an interesting organization. How many of you watch Shark Tank? So they were on Shark Tank. What's interesting about their product is they do household cleaning products, and we started purchasing some for the office. What they do is not just sustainable and green, it's actually safe, which means you can eat it. How many of you want to eat dish soap? You don't, but your dog might, or your 3-year-old might, right? And that's really scary. So they realized we don't want to just be green, we want to be safe. And it was a really interesting concept. So we bought some, and how often do you just sit around like looking at the labels of things when you're bored? Not to be really TMI, but probably like when you're in the bathroom and you're like, there's nothing there before cell phones and you're like studying it, right? Like, there are a couple people that are like, yep, I just grab whatever's there. So it was interesting. Packaging, how do you create a better reputation for yourself through packaging? They have this little thing next to the recycle. And their company's all about being green and sustainable and safe, but they put these little things. Please recycle me, I want to come back as a surfboard. Please recycle me, I want to come back as a kaleidoscope. Every single product is different. It's simple. They did a very, very simple thing on their packaging to just make it exceptional and fun and interesting, and I'm sitting here talking to you about dish soap and granite cleaner. Probably not what they thought would ever happen. Well, they thought it would. I don't know that other people would. Envision. Interesting tool. Leo is our creative, title. Creative lead. He's amazing. He started playing with all these tools, and he comes to me and he goes, can I try this? Can I test this? Can I see what this is? I'm like, yes, go for it. And then he'd come to me and go, okay, I really like it. Can I pay for it? Yes, go for it. Okay, cool. So he contacted Envision and said, I want to actually pay for your tool now they've been playing with it. And they said, great, that's really cool. Could you send us your address? And he was like, oh, okay, I might be getting like some promotional materials or like a postcard from them or something. The next thing you know, he got this in the mail. Full package. If you're a creative person and you get something this cool in the mail, it's like Christmas, right? Like Leo was like, look what I got. Look what I got. It's so pretty. I can touch it. Like, look, it's good paper. Like, it's really pretty. There's stickers. Then they had this whole insert. What is this? Okay. So that's the envelope. That's the packaging. Like, right? It's pretty. There are people here that would get that tattooed on themselves. Then they had a nice little handwritten note. He told us all about it, and I'm here telling you about it. It doesn't take much to surprise someone and go the extra mile. So what do the surprises look like? This is a couple bubbles. There's many, many areas in your organization or your enterprise or even just your small business that you can surprise someone. And I think that the difference between a great reputation and kind of a mediocre one is that you don't just surprise them with the marketing team. You don't just surprise them with customer service. You do it throughout the entire organization. Everyone in the company knows and everyone has been trained on it, and they expect that moving forward. So set that as a value, as a mission to yourself. You can do it with corporate social responsibility, innovation. You can do it in the results that you achieve if you're a service like us. You can do it with so many different areas. Michelle had mentioned rewards with, where's Michelle? Way back. What was the name of the company? I forgot what it was, but they've got a loyalty program. She was really stoked. Stay Home Club. So when you sign up for Stay Home Club, she didn't know that she was going to get this. They gave her a little like loyalty rewards thing. A lot of us have rewards things, and that's really exciting because then every time we use it, we get something free. It's really simple. So just little things like that can make a difference. So what's the difference between reputation marketing and reputation management? This is something that a lot of people are familiar with. Reputation management is when you really screw up. I curse a lot. I talked about my impression and my reputation. Some of you know me as having the mouth of a sailor. It's the first time I've cursed in this entire presentation. I'll try not to do any more. Yes. Okay. That was big. Reputation. Now there's like curse words going. Reputation management is the cleanup needed after you've lost the trust of your stakeholders. People pay us a lot of money to do that. We got contacted last week by a congressman. I'm not going to tell you who, but I'll say that we chose not to work with them. We evaluate everyone as a team, and we said, you know what? I don't feel good about this. We make choices in who we decide to work with, and we want to make the world a better place. We did not feel like we were going to make the world a better place, and we actually thought we might be killing some animals in the process. So, reputation management. When you mess up, this is what happens. You're no longer in someone's circle of trust. It takes a lot to gain back their trust, like a lot. So we think of reputation management typically as an event. Someone really messed up. They slept with the wrong person. They did insider trading. I don't know, product recall, something negative. What I think is more interesting about reputation management is that long-term loss of reputational value because you just stopped exceeding someone's expectation. You just kind of met it, or you just kind of faltered in a couple of areas. And I think that's more critical and interesting. And I think that a lot of us are doing this. And I'll admit that Outspoken Media, we do a lot with reputation. We don't have the best reputation. I think we're really exciting, we're fun, we've got great work, we've got great clients. Those who know us and know us well think highly of us. But to be honest, if you reach out to us through our contact form or try to apply, I'm probably not going to get back to you. That's awful. I know I need to fix it. We'll get there. So I would not put us in the great category. But there is a company that I would put in the great category. They're a great publisher. They've been doing amazing things for decades. I looked up to them. I read them at home for years and years and years. When we moved across states, my mom took like trucks of these with her. This was published on Snapchat recently, and I remember seeing it thinking, is this targeting like my 3-year-old? Who is this? Like, howler monkeys are loud. Watches a lioness, pulls a tranquilizer like out of her butt. What? What do bugs taste like? This is not what I expected from this publisher. Does anyone know who the publisher is? Exactly, National Geographic. They're on Snapchat. So if anyone's familiar, Brian Fellows from SNL would probably be going, what is that bug looking at? I was surprised. I would expect this type of content from Brian Fellows. I would not expect that type of content from the National Geographic. And I'm not sure they're aware, but on Snapchat, 77% of the population is actually 18 years or older. We probably know that howler monkeys are loud. We learned that in like the 2nd grade. I don't really want to know what a bug tastes like, but I'm really curious about conflict minerals. I'd really like to know what's happening there. I'm really curious about climate change and other things. And I got a little nervous. And I got especially nervous because Rupert Murdoch acquired it. And when Rupert Murdoch acquired it, he assured everybody nothing's going to change. We're still going to have great, exceptional quality work. Don't worry about it. And then he immediately fired 180 people, including this photographer and this iconic image that many of us are familiar with, which is Jane Goodall. Anyone that knows my private background, it kind of gives me chills and makes me really sad and feel tragic and emotional. So Nick Nichols, he's Michael, but goes by Nick, was immediately fired along with many others on the editorial and the photographer team. But you know, we're going to totally maintain that editorial standard, even though they've been here for decades and made us who we are. So I don't have high hopes for their reputation. They didn't do anything super wrong. You know, sometimes layoffs happen. Arguably, they laid off a lot of the TV channel who was producing things on supernatural pieces that actually had nothing to do with reality. So that was kind of a good decision. But I'm really nervous about it. Corporate reputation accounts for approximately 60% of a company's market value. It's important to hold on to your reputation, especially if you're publicly traded. How many of you are publicly traded in the room? We might not have that many. Nobody. I'm going to kind of breeze through these guys. But what's important to note is your CEO's reputation. So I already talked about my reputation a little bit. I curse like a sailor. I don't get back to people when they email me. It's probably not great. I should probably work on that, considering that 50% of my reputation is what you hold our company accountable to. So I'm going to be working aggressively on that. Email me in like 2 months and see what happens. So 7 in 10 consumers say that they frequently or regularly discuss how they feel about a product that they bought. And when people are talking, they're talking about a lot of things. So we're talking to our friends every day. We're talking right now. I'm giving things in a presentation, talking about customer service, how the employees are treated. That's a really big one. When we talk about stakeholders, we're not just talking about your customers. Very rarely, actually. We're often talking about your employees, your partners, your shareholders, and that's a really wide net. We're talking about company scandals, wrongdoing, or the feelings. If we actually chart your reputation management falls here. That's where you're failing. Reputation marketing is up here, and that's when you're exceeding someone's reputation. And then there's kind of that middle area where you're just there. I would argue the majority of us are here. We're kind of exceeding. In some areas we're failing, and maybe with like 1 or 2 people in our company, they're like really over the top. But you know what? In our organization, we like to kill spirits, so they'll catch up and like tone it down eventually. That's that. How many of you have worked there before? Oh, yeah. Everyone's like, marketing is expensive. There's a lot that goes into your marketing budget. There's a lot of dollars, you have to justify it, there's all this ROI, and it's really hard. And with us and our customers, or our clients, we struggle because we've had situations where we got the results, and they paid us a ton of money to get those results, but it didn't matter, because once those people showed up, that company had a terrible reputation, and I got tired of working with them on it. I'm driving traffic to you, and you're sucking. You're not just sucking, but you're terrible. They can't convert. They can't get through your terrible website. Your UX is awful. Your customer service is awful. You don't call them back. You're not competitive in the market. This other person is innovating faster than you. You're racist. There's horrible things that happen. And I don't want to be up against that when it comes to marketing. So we're getting into reputation marketing. If marketing is expensive, that means that growing your business is expensive. So invest in your reputation, and all of it gets less expensive. So when you have a great reputation, you don't have to spend as much on all of your marketing channels. You end up having more profit, more revenue. You have more time. What is more valuable to you, money or time? Time. Time is the most valuable thing in the world. And if you don't have to market and spend all that time trying to acquire people, you can work on innovating. You can work on creating a new menu. You can work on traveling and seeing the world and being exposed to new things that make your business and your life better. You can work on better perks for your team. There's so much that can happen when you have time. And that's what a reputation affords you. Surprised consumers are twice as likely to stop buying the product as they are to continue buying it. But what if that was not a negatively surprised consumer? What if that was a positively surprised consumer? There's no statistic on that. But I would wager that if they're positively surprised, they're going to really buy it, and they're going to tell a lot of people about it. So this is a story. This is my favorite story in the whole world. It's called A Story. It's about Anansi the spider. I know Pearl probably knows it. Anyone else? Okay, yay. 2 people. I won't go through the whole thing, but I could animate it right here. My mom's a storyteller, and when I grew up, she always told me this story. And what happens is Anansi goes up, and he meets the sky god. And when he's up there, he says to the sky god, and the sky god has this box filled with stories. And he says, I'd like to have your stories. Can I share them? Can I bring them down to everyone below and share your stories? And the sky god laughs at him and says, oh, Anansi, you're just a mortal man. You can't have these. So he challenges them to do 3 things. And Anansi goes back to Earth, and he does that, and he totally kicks ass, and he goes back up and says, I did what you asked. Give me your stories. It's better than that. But so when he gets the box of stories, he goes back to Earth, and he opens the box, and all the stories fly out to the world. And that's the birth of story. And it's my favorite story in the world. I get emotional thinking about it. But the best part in the book is something that was not in the book. It's something that my mom said at the end. She would say, and I caught this one, but I've just given it to you. Right? It just made me emotional. When she said that, it broke that third person wall. And it was such a surprise and such an interesting moment that I never forgot it, because she'd given me the gift of story and something amazing and emotional and positive. And so when I think about surprise, I think about that. I'm just listening to the story. But wait, you just gave me the gift of story. Cool. What if you give me the gift of just being nice, of exceeding my expectation, of being awesome? So I'll talk about my favorite restaurant. Peck's Arcade. It's not that there's that much competition in Troy. There's a lot of great restaurants. I'm not saying there's not great restaurants in Troy. But when they showed up, they brought something different. They brought something interesting, exciting. I remember when you guys opened, everyone I knew was like, I'm going to Peck's. I'm like, what's Peck's? I want to go. What is that? Oh, you took a picture on Instagram, and it looks delicious. And I want to be there, and I want that. That multiple layer potato thing. All of it. So Peck's has quickly amassed a huge reputation locally. And they've got amazing reviews online. Amazing. What's important about reputation is that you develop consistency in your products and your service. They have that. Every time I go to PEX, I know that I'm going to get something delicious, and it's going to be consistently delicious. It is made to look exactly the same. Even when they change the menu up, that every time it comes out, it's going to look the same. It's going to be an experience that I know I can count on to be memorable, unforgettable, delicious, exciting. So how do they do that? Well, Heather and Vic are here, and we're going to talk about it on the panel. But I would wager they do it by training their staff. And I know that because they take pictures about training their staff. So when you are trying to achieve a certain outcome, it's important that everyone is on the same page. I'm still working on this at Outspoken Media. We know that. I'm really, really bad at getting everyone to know the same things that I know and consistently produce it. We're working on it. It's hard, but it's achievable. Are you celebrating something tonight? I meant to ask, do you guys train them to ask that? Every time I call in to make a reservation, I get asked, are you celebrating something? And why? They're not just curious, they want to know because they want to do something incredible. If you don't say something on your reservation and it's not marked down, the moment you sit down, someone comes to you and says, hi, welcome to PEX Arcade. What brings you out today? And what's interesting about that is that after I had our baby about 7 months ago, I felt awful. I needed to get out of the house. I'd had a baby. I was tired. And I said, we're going on a date. I'd never left the baby alone. And I was like, I don't care. We're going out. I'm delirious. I'm not sure I even like you in this moment, but we're going out. Sorry. So we made it out. And they said, what brings you out today? And I said, it's nothing special. It's just, we had a baby. We have not been humans in months. The next thing I know, champagne arrived at the table. I wanted to cry. I was super emotional. Again, I'm just going to say I'm emotional. I'm a new mom. But not only did it show up to the table, but halfway through the meal, right as the entrees land on their table, I get a text, baby is losing it, come home now. What? No, this is our moment of humanity. PEX was awesome. They said, you want us to wrap this up? We're like, no, we're going to just eat it real fast. So we did that real fast. And they said, okay, well, here's a box of cookies. And they bring cookies just because whether or not you even order dessert. And they said, we threw in some extra cookies just for you to take home. I know you can't stay longer, but come back soon and we'll take care of you. I talked about it. I put it on Instagram. So define your mission and the values and deliver on that. I would assume that they have beautiful food. Not just delicious food, but beautiful. So much so that they're taking pictures of it. They consistently take pictures, so if you follow them on Instagram, beautiful food, you'll get hungry fast. Listen to feedback and respond to it. What I like about PEX is they don't just respond to it, they actually take the experiences of their audience and they publish them. So when you're on Instagram, you see people getting retweeted all the time about these moments that they've had and these experiences, and then it makes me go, ooh, I'm going to have a good experience too. Wow, I didn't know they did that. That's awesome. And one day I saw one of my friends who was celebrating her birthday. I didn't see it through Facebook. I saw it on PEX Instagram account. That was really cool. Curate and promote your messages. Make sure that they are promoted and they're curated when they align with your mission and values. Don't just do it because. Do it because it aligns with what you believe in. So the experiential side of this is important. PEX puts a lot of time and energy into this. And I keep saying PEX, Clark's Hospitality, Heather and Vic. They put a lot of time into curating experiences and making sure that they're going to be memorable and exciting. And you can see that because people continually post pictures like, hey, it's my birthday, and they wrote happy birthday on my plate. Well, that's kind of fun. Or they take pictures of the beautiful location because the location is inspiring. How many of you took pictures in here already? I mean, it's not an accident. It's a cool space. We wanted to be inspired. So be intentional about it. Charge a premium for being amazing. This is the last slide. It's an important one. When you are exceptional, you can charge a premium. PEX Arcade is not going to be cheap. I'm not going there to pick up a sandwich. I'm going there for that experience, and I'm totally happy with it. I've never spent a penny there that I didn't feel was well-deserved and worth it. And you can charge a premium, and the best part about charging premiums is you can invest less in your marketing because you have more of this, which is like stacks of cash, just like cash. So is anyone familiar with Hermes bags? Anyone in the room have an Hermes bag? Nope. I'm not judging all of you. I'm just saying nobody here is probably a millionaire, but if you were, You probably have an Hermes bag, but you probably got waitlisted for it, and when you finally bought it, it was more than your house the first time or your car. They tend to retail between $15,000 and $150,000. And when you take those two handbags and you put the Hermes bag here and you put the tote bag from Coach here, they don't look all that different. But it comes with 100 years of producing exceptional leather and saddlery and handbags, and that like exclusivity of getting one and the reputation is what allows them to charge as much as a house for a handbag, which is insane to the vast majority of us. Like I think it's insane to everyone in here. If it's not insane to you, probably, I don't know, we're just come from different planets. But with that handbag, you can charge that much for it because of the exclusivity, because of the reputation, because of the history, because of the stability of it. Coach is not quite there. So when you have a great reputation, you can charge premium. That's it for me. Thank you guys so much.